Hello everybody, solo incursions is what we're going to do. So it is very last minute. It's 4 hours 46 minutes until the launch of Incursions, and this will probably go out once Incursions has been redone, so at that point. And also I've got to start work for the other job that I do in an hour 15 minutes, so I don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to give a test of solo mode. Also, you can use relics, it seems, in them. You can see there's a relic symbol that's just gone like this, blah, 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 like vibrating away on top of my King Groot. That's disgusting, Kabam. Sort that out. So I wanted to get a bit of a chance to kind of like try out Sector 9 for a little bit, and also kind of try out solo mode. I don't know if this is going to work. Like, clicking this, like, it could break. And whatever, but I wanted to give solo mode a try, and especially on some of the champions. So I'm going to cut up this video. This may be like a 5 to 6 or 7 minute video of going as far as I can for the time that I've got. Well, I'm showing you my time. There's no watch there, but I'm just going to showcase from a time perspective. Also the level of difficulty, inputs and stuff like that, because that's going to be a key thing. And especially like as far as you go as to like node stuff and blah 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 blah, stuff like that. Powerful from afar first of starting, and the final boss being Scorpion, which is use it or lose it when the attacker feels about power. You have 8 seconds to use a special attack, or 20% of their max power. It's instantly drained. That's not too bad. As long as nodes are kind of like that, I think it's a bit more kind of like interesting and fair. And also I want to see hacks. That's the other thing as well. Let's have a look at hacks. We'll do as many zones as possible as I can for the limited time that I've got. Pick up module. Let's do this. Okay, what hacks have I got available? Anything new? Attack, enhancement, special attack, and critical rating. Well, I guess that's that. I also should have looked first as to like champions on the route in order to get my Corvus powered up, but it doesn't matter. Like, okay, let's just go with special attack enhancement. Let's go again. We want to see like new nodes, new hacks, sorry, and stuff like that. Let's begin with I can't tally up anything with my apocalypse. No, with my I'm Suicide Masteries. Oh, right, okay, I remember now. I'm Suicide Masteries on the CCP beta. And by the way, this is on the CCP beta. I don't know if anybody else has had a chance to kind of like fully test this out and see as far they can go. But to be honest, why would you? Like, from a time investment point of view, if you're on the CCP, you'd be like, well, I can. Like, it just doesn't feel like it's worth it, because you'd be like, well, I want to like invest on my main account. But I suppose for testing purposes, I don't think I can't remember if Incursions was on the CCP to like the beta to test out. But still, it is what it is. It is what it is. And I should be trying to build up here to... got no input there. Well, that's one of the problems I had last time with this. Is like, if input problems become like an issue where you're clicking down on the screen and nothing's happening, that was the same issue with the previous Incursions. That dropped inputs were more of an issue within it. So I don't want to say that's kind of like there may have been a connection problem on my end, but I don't want to dispute it, because it's something that when I was playing with many people in Incursions, they were saying, well, I get dropped inputs in this particular mode. So let's get some relic action in and see like how this kind of like functions, whether or not it's going to be good. I personally would rate relate relics in this particular confined. And also, with the extent of like Sector 9, something that I don't know if anybody kind of like noticed, and I might have to kind of like when I kind of stop the video towards the end of it, I might have to kind of like point out to the extent of the amount of hero rating you require, which is like, I think it was something like 40k, 50k to, yeah, like 50k to 100k, which is going to be something that's going to be pretty massive, especially with like a kind of booster with relics. Okay, so one good thing about Sector 9 when you go into it, and I don't know if this is all the sectors, I might jump into Sector 8 if I get enough time for this particular video, especially because it's obviously the solo side of things, is that the champions you face off against first don't have any node restrictions. It's only when you get to like a certain point up a bit further on that there's like things like Toxa can, Toxa can't. But and that's like, that's a bit weird, because that's very specific. But I suppose what I'm trying to say, that they want you to kind of like switch around more between different champions. The problem is hacks. It doesn't look like the hacks have dramatically changed, may have changed a slight potency, but it's like I haven't seen anything different than what I've normally seen. So I don't know if that's a Kabam thing. Back to the hacks here. Again, no great changes to note. It's all the same. It's good to see the kind of things like attack enhancement medium. It's going to be handy for my Corvus. Obviously handy for a lot of champions, not just Corvus, but because I spend a lot of time, as most of us know, the way that we kind of play our Corvus is to kind of time in things when it comes to medium attacks and where you get things when it comes to crits. So you've got to be very careful, but at the same time, you've got to work fast, act fast, smash fast, and stuff like that. 6 stars still, 6-star boss. That's the one that's Zone 3 boss. The attack rating, and this is the thing that I just want to like talk about, is sometimes we're having that colorblind node. It's good that it's removed, but there is, and there possibly will be times where there might be degen damage or amplified damage from things like, I don't know, energy damage, unavoidable damage, that will scale with the attack rating of these champions. That is something when there's unavoidable damage and it's scaling with the attack rating of the boss. I really hope that there's nothing that's going to really be too disgusting towards players, and that was one of the biggest criticisms that a lot of us had of Incursions as it was, so I hope that's basically improved. Okay, I've got to bust out King Gru, I really do. Like, he's my dude. But I do have to watch out for that unstoppable. And I guess that's going to be the sticking point of like timing champion choices and stuff like that. Because like now, you know, I've got to be careful about that unstoppable. But at the same time, I want to be as aggressive as possible. Also, I want to find out the enemy champions and bosses are throwing special attacks. Like, I don't want to spend the entirety of the fight just kind of like waiting like this. Like, what's happening here? The same problem as last time? Like, am I waiting? Oh, thank God. Thank you for gracing us with throwing a special attack. And yeah, it's that's going to be the annoying thing there. Also, I need to remember the relic button to press that. It's good that you can use relics in it, and I don't know if Kabam have allowed this to be an ongoing thing because it's going to be, you know, beneficial for you as we get a little bit of epilepsy trigger there. Pickup module, what do you got for me? Hopefully something new. I don't think there is. Entropic shield, I think that was there in there before. So I want to say that there's, again, nothing new when it comes to hacks. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I've not seen anything fresh in, you know, 2 zones. Let's see what happens in a 3rd zone. So the boss is at 189,000 health points, 11,300 when it comes to the attack. Now, interesting enough, just compared to a previous, like this is from a video of me and Super Duper Boo. I recorded it of our incursions like recently. This was Sector 8. In Sector 8, Zone 3, you've got a 5-star boss, which is 133k health pool with 7,455. So it gives you an idea. I haven't gone back into Sector 8 yet. I hopefully able to squeeze this into this particular video, because just to get that comparison off of, well, how much is that scaled in comparison? Is it, you know, is it lower? I'd love to see that it was lower, because that would be brilliant for, you know, getting further, you know, deeper down into the zones, but we'll have to see. So I think that's what we'll do. I'm just going to like finish this boss, and then I'm going to exit out of Sector 9 and go to Sector 8. As I said, I want to see if there's been any changes of like nerfs and whether or not it's going to be good for players. But let's kind of like just kind of quickly do this. Which I'm just going to use Apocalypse and hope for the best, especially because the champion might do evading. That's the little thing I love there about Apocalypse, is that kind of fight by fight kind of like signature kind of build up. Gaining me, and that's the great thing. If you've got an awakened version of Apocalypse and you like win a few fights without him, then he can be of benefit. The only biggest problem is running suicides with this. It's great for damage potential, and that's fantastic. But at the same time, recoiling, and that's an issue that you need to be very careful of if you're running suicides and you're recoiling in what is it called, in Incursions. So that's one thing. Like, you need to have like either a champion that's going to be able to rotate around healing, or you're going to be wasting your kind of like hacks at the end of it for Incursion top up. Now it just crashed me there. My as soon as I tried to enter Sector 8, it crashed me. So don't know if that's a bug when it comes live. It could be live and doing that. So Sector 8 could be bugged. So just quickly going off the boss, as I said, 133k, 7,455 was indeed the kind of the health pool, which you can see on screen from the last Incursions. This Incursions, it is 126,000 with a health pool of 8,190. Now that is kind of like, it's better on health, but is worse on attack. But the thing to mention with that is the kind of fact that you're facing off against a 6-star versus facing off against a 5-star, which indeed 5-star was last time. This time, in exactly the same place, it is a different one. I'm sure it's not going to be too much of an issue, but you have to kind of look at these things of like, okay, is it seen as a problem? Was this annoying? Was this frustrating? What was the difference? How was it? Was it difficult? And things like that. And that's kind of like the way to kind of like, you know, address it, because you've got things like pressure gauge. We've got pressure gauge to kind of worry about, which you can see there, like the burst damage. So Kabam have this really bad habit, and we'll end on this point right here when it comes to Incursions, of putting stuff in that's just like these node combinations again that I just don't get why Kabam decide that they want to put this in. Yeah, okay, it's all about you thinking about the best champions to put in your roster. Look, I get it, but at the same time, when you're putting all of this kind of burst damage stuff, or this unavoidable damage that if you don't perform something, and let's face it, a lot of the time, if you get down to further rooms, as soon as you try and go for a parry or a well-timed block, number one, if the input actually registers, but number two, if you're then receiving some burst damage, like not burst damage, or you're receiving kind of like damage through the block that's just ridiculous, that's going to be annoying. Even more so annoying when things scale with champions attack, which I said about. Like stuff like this. This is the next room. So this is zone 4 of sector 8, which again, I find weird that Kabam are kind of like allowing for this stuff to be in it. Where the attacker knocks the defender down with a heavy attack, they have 10 seconds to use a special attack, or they take 50% of their max health as burst of direct damage. Why? Why is that? Why is it all this kind of like burst damage stuff? I mean, champions got cornered as well, so your playstyle is going to differ against some of this particular stuff, and also the champions you choose. Yes, you can bring counters, and that's the point of Incursions. I get it, but it's very different when it comes to you're ramping up champions to take on the route, but as well, some of the nodes can be quite disgusting for the purpose of being there. And again, as I said, the thing about in the past when we were talking about Incursion improvements is it would be great to re-roll some of these particular nodes. So, I don't know, it is what it is on the subject of Incursions. I still enjoy Incursions, by the way. I'm not saying it's bad, but what I'm saying is like there should have been a lot more considered by Kabam to change that was taken into consideration player feedback, which seems to be somewhat ignored. A lot of it's there. Solo Incursions, great, love it, great, fantastic. But when it comes to like node combinations, inputs within the system of Incursions, re-rolling nodes, resetting of champions and the cost for doing it, those are extra things that need to be considered. So as I said, I like it. I'm looking forward to playing it with people, and also getting more shards for my trouble. Solo Incursions maybe, but yeah, that's been a quick coverage, and I've got to start work in 30 minutes, so I better get this video quickly cut up and scheduled for 6 p.m. when this goes live. But yeah, Incursions. It looks great, it feels great, but there's still some work that needs doing with it. And also, where's the hacks? Any new hacks? None. No new powerful hacks. 6-star champions, watch out for and be very careful. But otherwise, great rewards that have been added to it. It's just getting to the rewards that could be a little bit of a sticking point. So yeah, that's been it. Thank you very much for watching. Check out some other content located on the screen. Hopefully those little bugs I noticed are gone. And I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.